I went back and forth on making this video, thinking, do people want to hear me talk about the World War II game? I figured why not, but I'll keep it brief. As you may know, today was the reveal live stream day for Sledgehammer's World War II game. I did a bit of live tweeting coverage, but there was nothing ground-shattering. Of course, the first reveal focuses on the campaign, and they're going to tell a World War II story of camaraderie and the horrors of war in a historically accurate setting, which I think is very cool. I can't say for sure if there will be boots-on-the-ground gameplay, and I wish they would have told everyone that they intend to go back to the roots of Call of Duty. I think that would have gotten people excited. Oh wait, what am I saying? They made sure to drill those into everyone's heads. I knew they would love those phrases. In fact, I kept track of how many times they repeated them. Yeah, 8 times each in their 20 minutes of talking or whatever it was. Moving on, they made it look good as I expected, but allow me to be the cynic, which for once feels like the unpopular opinion for an upcoming Call of Duty title. What universe am I in? There's an overwhelming positive reaction, but I always like being the douchebag contrarian, so I will say it does bother me to see some of the overhype going on. Yeah, it looked good, but I've seen a bunch of Twitter polls, and the amount of people saying that they're ready to pre-order is kinda dangerous. That said, my little audience I think had a reasonable reaction of convince me with the beta and wait for more info, but that's a pretty small sample size. People pre-ordering in mass tells Activision that people are so excited just by the World War II theme and the promise of more traditional gameplay that they're probably safe to do their post-launch supply drop bait and switch thing, and it won't even hurt their game that much. As you guys know, that's one reason I've talked about in length why I don't want to jump right into the multiplayer day one. I want to give it some time to see what they do about that, and I haven't gone back on that line of thinking. The funny thing is, if they launched with non-cosmetic supply drops or communicated that that was their plan day one, that isn't ideal. Cosmetic is the pro-consumer way to go, and they won't do that because they'll probably sell fewer copies, but I would be more inclined to get it in that case, assuming that they keep the system of unlocking stuff with parts or salvage or a currency to have it not all be RNG, because the one thing I really hated about it, if I didn't make this clear, is the feeling of being duped into buying the game like I was tricked into it. I just want to know what I'm buying. The supply drop system in Modern Warfare Remastered right now is not that bad. I play the game quite a bit, so I can unlock all the weapons for free without waiting or spending a dime. The reason it was so horrible and everyone complained is that they squeezed the decent system into not only a remastered game that many people wanted to be pure COD 4, but it was the bonus add-on game that we already paid a pretty high price tag for, especially for the people like me who never even touched Infinite Warfare. So I will admit that the current supply drop system isn't that bad. A major improvement would be cosmetic only, but removing the reliance on RNG was a big thing. That main idea in mind of just wanting to avoid being tricked, that's it. I just don't want to be played like a fool where they add supply drops and everyone gets mad and acts surprised. That will never be me again. I want to know what I'm buying and get that value out of it. So I'm actually wondering if I want to get it just to play the campaign. Just doing a campaign playthrough of this game might be really fun, and I'll stick to my plan and wait to invest any real time into the multiplayer. Like every COD game in recent history, I've bought the version with the season pass, and to be perfectly honest with myself, I rarely get full value out of that, because I don't think I've ever played the 4th DLC pack of a game, and this year I played 0 of them, because I've played 0 Infinite Warfare. So this time, I'm definitely not pre-ordering, but maybe I buy the digital base game and just play the campaign. I'm not changing my mind on Call of Duty. I don't have any trust left when it comes to them keeping the players in mind when they mess around with the whole supply drop side of the game. Maybe they prove me wrong, but there's no reason for me to think this time will be any different. But I do trust that they make a solid campaign mode, because that happens nearly every time. A staggering number of people who buy Call of Duty games only ever play the campaign mode and don't even open up multiplayer. Video games provide pretty damn good entertainment value when you think of just like what you pay for a movie, so I don't mind paying full price just to play the campaign. I might be one of those people this year. As far as multiplayer info we got, not too much. There are leaks from other places talking about 48 player games, going Battlefield-esque in many ways with this game. There was the brief Headquarters teaser showcase, not the Headquarters game mode, but this is basically an expanded virtual lobby like the tower in Destiny where you could hang out with players. My memory of that game is pretty foggy, but just an expanded virtual lobby. Allow me to be a jackass again. This is a great example of potential overhype. It looks neat when they announce it, but that level of innovation is the same as when Advanced Warfare added virtual lobbies and the virtual firing range. We went from names on a list waiting for the next game to start to characters standing around in a room, and we were able to test out weapons while waiting for the game to start. Sounds cool, but how much time do you really spend using it after the first few days? Not much time at all. Maybe that's where you have to do all your customization and buy your supply drops. You have to go to the headquarters and walk up to it like a zombies mystery box. That would make a lot of sense to me, actually. It feels more like part of the game, not just a menu transaction. Another thing to note about the headquarters that I haven't seen anyone mention is that the little teaser they showed, I don't think is actually what it'll look like in the real game. That might just be a shot of the campaign with player names poorly motion tracked above all the heads, because earlier in the live stream, I saw the exact same clip without the names above the heads, just saying. Anyway, that doesn't seem like a huge feature to get excited about based on what we've seen. So when I see the people like, oh my god, headquarters look so badass, get hyped, it's like, alright, calm it down a bit there, bud. Now, to counter my contrarian douchebag side, I will say, when they were talking about the war multiplayer mode, it's about time. That sounds like a great mode. I'm not talking about the old war game type as in the thing called Momentum in Advanced Warfare. This was described as a point-to-point mission conquest type strategical game mode, like capture this area, destroy this fortified position, escort this vehicle, plant this bomb, pushing the enemies back as you go, and if you get it all done, you win. And the other team is defending and trying to hold people off. That type of mode has been a thing in many other shooter games, and it seems like a great addition to a World War II COD game. One other thing they said about the multiplayer you may not have caught was that you can choose your combat role or your division. It may have to do with the countries of the war and could affect what weapons you unlock and use, or this may just be like the thing in Infinite Warfare where you choose your group and they give you challenges. But they did give examples like infantry and armor, and that it affects how you rank up in the game. You could interpret that as just meaning you earn more XP for being infantry and capturing objectives than you do as a tank commander guy, but because they mentioned it as a big deal, it sounds more like you can rank up different combat roles separately, so you can be like a level 40 armor guy and only a level 11 infantry guy. Sounds like something interesting they could do. In other news, the only other big thing that they teased was the Nazi zombie mode, which some people might be freaking out about, but I don't know, man. We've had a lot of zombies modes, and zombies isn't a magic word that makes me excited. I loved Black Ops 1 Zombies, played a ton of it. Like, to give my uneducated and quick synopsis of zombies that people will probably be mad about, but we're allowed to disagree, World at War Zombies was the start of a great idea. Black Ops 1 had a ton of fun features and great maps, plus interesting DLC maps, each with a small Easter egg and special weapon. I thought that was the peak of zombies. Black Ops 2 got more complicated. It's like they had to try too hard to innovate, and that resulted in things like annoying lava on the ground and the dumb transit bus, and making the game revolve around overcomplicated Easter eggs that made it not fun to play with random people. You had to force everyone to cooperate. And then Black Ops 3 I didn't play much of, so I don't have much of an opinion, but it seemed like they went further down the crazy creatures, crazy Easter eggs rabbit hole, just made everything an insane labyrinth, step-by-step puzzle. Like, maybe I don't want to try to morph into a creature and zap a bunch of plates and go through a bunch of memorized setup for half an hour in the first 3 rounds just to get to the fun part every single game. I know nothing about the Infinite Warfare zombies, but it seemed like maybe it wasn't bad. The extinction mode in Ghosts was actually pretty fun, but not many people cared to give it a shot. Anyway, another Nazi zombie mode might be cool, probably fun with friends, but that doesn't make me immediately hyped since we don't know anything about it. That's all I'll say about COD World War II. I stand by not wanting to jump right into the multiplayer, no pre-ordering for me, but I'm more interested in the campaign than I thought I would be, and that might be what I play. Looking forward to your opinions. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.